So let's talk about regression modeling, but this time let's look at a cubic model. So a lot of the times when you're seeing word problems, they're going to have this nice, lovely word problem, and they're going to use a word, say model, regression, or best fit, function. So anytime you see that, the first thing you kind of want to do is plug a lot of this data into the calculator. Okay, and you can also do this with Excel, but today we're going to do this with a TI-84 Plus calculator, and I'll show a little trick for my TI-83 people. So I want you to hit Stat and Edit, and you're going to enter in all of that data into List 1 and List 2. Again, please make sure that everything does line up with the dots here. Well, I guess they're dash lines, but make sure that they line up. And from there, the other thing, after everything is in, double check that all of these numbers match these numbers here. That's a number one mistake a lot of students make, is one little thing, it might be 7.06 and it's actually 7.07, and then you're going to get the answer wrong. So double check to make sure everything is in there correctly. Understand that anything like this 7.1 and 7.10, they are the same. I did actually type that in as 7.10, but when I hit enter, that 0 is kind of a placeholder there at the end, and the calculator just like shoves it off. Now, once you have all this in here, we're actually going to find the cubic model that gives the number of American workers working full-time, which is Y, in millions, as a function of their age X. And we're going to report the model with 3 significant digits in the coefficient. So to get that model, we're going to let the calculator do all the work for us. So we've entered our data in. We're going to hit Stat. We're going to arrow to the Calculate menu because we're going to let the calculator calculate our model. And then we're going to go down to number 6, cubic. Okay, you can arrow down and make sure 6 is highlight and hit enter, or you can just hit the number 6 and that will work as well. And this is where my TI-83 people, hang on one second. My TI-84s, your list should pop up just like this. Leave the frequency list alone. Don't put anything there. If you would like to store the equation in Y1, you can. So for store reg EQ, you're going to hit alpha trace, and then you're going to go with number 1. Okay, so plug it into Y1, and then just arrow down and click calculate, and it will automatically go. Okay, and you'll get the lovely equation right there. We'll just have to plug in what A, B, and C are into our model. Now, for my TI-83 people, please understand that when you run it, it should look something like this, where it says list 1, comma, list 2. Now, for those of y'all that would like to also store it in Y1, you can still do that with the TI-83. The next step, all you have to do is, after it already puts list 1, comma, list 2, if you haven't, it should automatically put it in there, but in case if it doesn't, put that in there. Hit comma, and then you're going to hit VARS, the button that says VARS. It's right next to the clear button. Hit that. You're going to arrow over to the YVARS menu, and number 1 for function and number 1 for Y1. So it should say L1, comma, L2, comma, Y1 next to whatever the regression is. And you can do this for any regression. I'm just showing it with our cubic regression here. Hit enter, and again, you will see the same screen that the TI-84 people see. Now, please be a little careful with our A here. Notice on A, it does say e to the -4. Please understand that that is scientific notation. So when you go about plugging that into the calculator, or even into whatever, in my case here, you guys are probably entering it into a Pearson product. You may want to make sure to change that from scientific notation to just regular decimal form, so you can round that correctly to the 3 significant digits. Okay, so in this case here, that's going to be 362 x to the 3rd plus 0.0401 x squared minus 1.3x plus 21.7. And again, we are rounding to 3 significant digits in the coefficients there. If your calculator doesn't show up with the R squared, it's okay. Don't let that bother you. That does not have an effect. That's more of a correlation coefficient, and that will be talked about later. So if it doesn't show, it's okay. If it does, it's just kind of this extra little piece of information that you don't actually need right now. Okay, and you can also look at y equals and see that it is already plugged in there. So when you go and turn on your stat plot, and I'm doing this a little quick, okay, you can hit, again, zoom 9. You can see how it plots it right along with all the dots.